Race 1 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's for the 3-year-olds as a benchmark 72 over the 1400 metres. And I'm tipping one at a bit of odds here in IndyCar for Anthony Cummings. IndyCar's only been to the races once, and he produced a booming finish to score at Newcastle over 1200 metres. To break his maiden, he ran good time, he trolled like a good horse, and I think he can handle a step up to Saturday benchmark company, and especially with a bit of speed on paper up front, which may be able to bring him over top of them late. Number 3, Betcha Flying. I think she'll be finishing off hard as well. She rattled home in the Reginald Allen, a listed race there last start at Randwick behind Akari. She sticks to the 1400. I'm waiting for her to get to a mile, but fast run 1400 is the next best thing, and she'll be rattling home as well. Number 5, Grand Piano. He's stepping up from 1200 metres last start at Warwick Farm, where he hit the line hard behind Mirror Vision and Special Snap. Lovely gate. Rachel King does the riding. And number 2, Rule the World. He's been trialling really well for his first up run. Robbie Dolan rides. He's come up with barrier 1, and the blinkers are on first time. And he is 2 from 2, this 3-year-old, so we'll keep him very safe. My numbers in the first, 11, 3, 5 and 2. Race 2 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's the Tab Highway. This week it's a Class 3 over 1200 metres, and I'm tipping one of the highway regulars on top here, Zardoro. Zardoro's trained by Terry Robinson, Tommy Berry to do the riding. He's got a good record here at Rosehill, Zardoro. He's won 2 races here, and he's a regular in these highways. He's won a one, he's been placed at a few. Last start he just didn't get a crack at them in the straight at Randwick behind Field of Night. But if Tommy can find clear air on Zardoro turning for home on the back of what looks a fast tempo, I think Zardoro's the horse to beat. Number 10, Plonker. I think he's the big improver. Just got a long way back from a wide draw and then forced deep on the turn at Randwick last time out. He's shown plenty of ability at his previous 5 starts, where he's finished in the Quinella on 4 occasions. So we'll give him another chance. I think Jason Collett will suit. Number 1, Coup de Mar for Matty Dale. He's a talented horse. He's been placed twice here at Rosehill previously. Loves the 1200 metres. Just a little bit mixed form this time in, but he hasn't had much luck under big weights. And once again, he's drawn right off the track. So Nasrawilla, we'll leave it up to him to work that out. And number 6, Gumshoe. I think he can improve off his last start effort in a Randwick highway, where he just got back further than expected over 1100. The extra 100 will suit, and Sam Clinton's 2 kilo claim another plus. My numbers in the highway, 4, 10, 1 and 6. Race 3 at Rosehill on Saturday, a benchmark 88 over the 1500 metres, and I'm tipping one a little bit of odds here in Strome, trained by Gary Portelli. Robbie Dolan to claim 1.5 kilos. She didn't fire first up in a benchmark 88 at Randwick over 1200, but she wasn't far off them either. Only 4 lengths behind Signore Fox, Real 'em in Ruby and Outrageous. I think that's a much stronger lineup than the one she faces this week. She's been back to the trial. She looked great winning a trial, and stepping up to the 1500 from barrier 2, given a smother, I think Strome's a big chance here to cause an upset. Number 1, Asterius. He's got a booming finish on him. He towed them up last preparation over this track and distance, and second up off a spell. He'll be looking to get home over top of them again. It's just the tempo of the race which is a little query. Doesn't look a lot of speed on paper, but if he's close enough on the turn, very hard to hold out. Number 5, Mushareb, caught the eye first up at Rosehill, hitting the line behind Ranier. That was over 1400, so the extra 100 will suit. He's got a lovely barrier. He looks a major player. And I think number 2, Turnberry, can take advantage of no obvious leader here. And if Sam Clinton can get him to the front, he's the sort of horse that sticks on, and he's going to go round at big overs. My numbers in the third, 4, 1, 5 and 2. Race 4 at Rosehill on Saturday, a benchmark 88 over the 1100 metres. I'm with the Godolphin-owned Bow Ideal. This horse has been knocking on the door since coming across from Europe. He's had the 3 starts out here. His last 2 in particular, he's been close up behind Spanish Dream here 2 starts ago in a very similar race to this, and then last time out behind Signore Fox and Real 'em in Ruby, where he was wide throughout and stuck on really gamely. A trial since at Warwick Farm really caught my eye. He was ridden quieter in that trial, and he really savaged the line under a hold with Josh Parr in the saddle. Now James McDonald takes the ride on Saturday. There does look good speed in this race up front, so the option to switch him off and let him attack the line looks as though it'll come into play, and I think we might see the best of this import for Godolphin. Number 4, Agent Pippa. She'll be one of those horses right up on speed. She led throughout to win at Randwick over 1100 last start. And general rule, if you can lead over the 1100 at Rosehill, you're very hard to catch. And I think that'll be the case with Agent Pippa. Number 1, Sandbar, barrier 1. Got the 60 kilos, but he's coming back in grade from the Group 3 Sydney Stakes, where he didn't have a lot of luck behind Deprive and Champagne Cuddles. That's obviously superior form to this. So he could definitely bounce back. 11 of his 12 starts have been in stakes races. So back to a benchmark 88 for Sandbar. And number 8, Lundberg, resuming from a spell. He's hard to catch, but he has won 3 from 11. He's been placed on 4 occasions. So he's a consistent performer. And on the back of a fast tempo, he could just be scooting home late. under the lightweight. My numbers in the fourth, 5, 4, 1 and 8. Race 5 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's for the fillies and mares. It's a benchmark 78 over the 1200 metres. And I'm tipping the informed mare here for Joe Pride at a bit of a price, Everly. Everly's won 2 from 2 this prep. She's finished strongly on each occasion, right over the top of them at 1,000, then out to 1,100 at Wyong last start. This is harder, obviously. She's up in grade, although it's worth noting the horse she beat last start came out and won impressively during the week at the Provincials. She's got barrier 4. She gets 1.5 kilos off for Robbie Dolan. There's just enough speed in the race to bring her into it late. And if Robbie can keep Everly close enough to the leaders, I think she'll make it very interesting at a bit of a price. Number 5, Dancehall Girl. She's the obvious leader here from barrier 1. She's dropping back in grade from a test at the Tibby Stakes last start in Group 3 company, where she did a stack of early work and knocked up late. Prior to that, she'd won 3 on end. So she'll give you a great sight, you would expect. Number 2, Miss Invincible. She's the other on-pace runner. She's drawn barrier 2 with Nasrullah in the saddle, so you'd expect her to be in the firing line for a long way, although this is her first test at 1,200 metres. And number 8, Jen Rules. She's caught the eye at a recent trial. She's first up here. Usually sprints well fresh for Team Snowden and Karen McAvoy. And on her best form, she'd give this a real shake. My numbers in the 5th, 10, 5, 2 and 8. Race 6 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's the inaugural running of the Gold Cup, a 2,000 metre race worth $500,000. It's also the first leg of the quaddie. And if you want my quaddie numbers, just stick around. They're coming up at the end of this spiel. But here I'm tipping number 1, Tally on top for James Cummings and James McDonald. At last start second in the Group 3 Craven Plate, chasing home Happy Clapper. That looks good enough form to win a race like this. Of course, he's got to carry the big weight, 59 kilos, because he's got the highest rating in the race. But he's certainly going well. The distance is no problem. He's a 2-time Group 1 place getter. He's a Group 2 winner, Group 3 winner. And look, he just looks to have found the right race, right barrier, and the timing looks perfect for him. Dangers. Number 7, Chapada, up from Victoria. 2 runs back from a spell over shorter trips to get him ready for this distance. He ran third in the Rosehill Guineas here last prep over the 2,000 behind the Autumn Sun. So we know he's got a bit of class about him, and also well drawn for Karen McAvoy. Number 15, Dealmaker for Chris Waller. He struck some form at the right time. He's coming off a benchmark 88 win and then a close second in the Spring Mile behind Cascadian last start at Randwick, and we know he gets the 2,000 metres. He'll probably have to go back from the draw, but he's got no weight. He'll be finishing off hard. And I'm putting in number 4 for 4th, Abdon, barrier 1, Tommy Berry. And the first up run in the Shannon Stakes, obviously a good grounding to step into this race second up. My numbers in the Rosehill Gold Cup, 1, 7, 15 and 4. Good luck if you are going to have a play at the Rosehill Quaddie on Saturday. Why wouldn't you have a play with some big races, including the Golden Eagle and the Redzel Stakes making up the Quaddie? These are my Quaddie numbers. First leg, 1, 7, 15, 4 and 10. Second leg, 3, 15 and 2. Third leg, 1, 12, 6 and 2. And the final leg, I've got numbers 3 and 10. There are 120 combinations in that quaddie, so use the tab Flexi Betting option to best suit your budget. Good luck with your Rosehill Quaddie on Saturday. Good luck with all of your bets at Rosehill for Golden Eagle Day. Race 7 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's the big one, the inaugural running of the Iron Jack Golden Eagle, worth $7.5 million to be run over 1,500 metres, and we've got a big field, so it's going to be a terrific race. My top pick is the Epsom winner, Colding, for Chris Waller and Glenn Boss, and I'm super confident. He's got the perfect gait. He's proven at the trip. He obviously won the Epsom over a mile, comes back to 1,500 here. Looks to get the perfect run, barrier 4. Glenn Boss can let the speed runners come across and just tuck in behind them. And good track suits. He's just a foolproof horse. He's had a trial since that Epsom run. It was a lovely trial. And I just think he's got to be the horse to beat. There are plenty of other chances. It's an open race. The 15 Arcadia Queen, the stablemate, she's the biggest danger coming through the Tab Everest, where she had no luck. She finished out the back, but she was badly checked in the straight, and it was a total forgive run. She won the Theo Marks at her first start for the Chris Waller stable, and of course her West Australian form was outstanding. So she looks the big danger. Number 2, Classique Legend, the other hard luck story from the Tab Everest. Can he get from 1,200 straight to 1,500? Well, that's the big ask. He hasn't been tested at this trip before, but barrier 1 suits. He's got loads of talent, this horse, and I'm keen to see what he can do. And I'm going to throw in number 17 for Zika at good odds. Don't know if she can win the race. This is only her second prep. She's only had 5 career starts, and she was beaten in the Silver Eagle by the Inevitable. But I just think she's a ridiculous price floating around that $20 mark. So if you are playing some multis, I suggest adding number 17 for Zika into whatever you do. I'll be back in Colding to win the Golden Eagle. My numbers, 3, 15, 2 and 17. Race 8 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's the $1 million Rosehill Stakes over 1,300 metres it is, and it's a weight for age contest. So terrific field assembled, as you could imagine, and my top pick here is the class runner of the lot in number 1, Piarata. Piarata's coming through the Everest, where barrier 1 proved a little bit of a problem. He got locked up there coming to the turn, had to weave along the inside, ran 5th, beaten a length and a half. Terrific run, and that was on the back of 2 outstanding performances in the Concord Stakes, first up behind Rosehill and then winning the shorts, beating Classique, Legend and Rosehill. So I think he's got the right form to win this race. He's got a tricky gate. There are going to have to be some decisions made by Tommy Berry as to how he handles it from out there. I wouldn't mind seeing the race grabbed by the scruff of the neck and roll forward, but I think he can come from behind and win as well. Number 1, Piarata, my top pick for the inaugural running of the Rosehill Stakes. Plenty of dangers. Number 12, Champagne Cuddle. She maps to get a lovely run just in behind the speed. Her effort in the Sydney Stakes was outstanding when edged out by Deprive. They went to the steward's room in a protest. She didn't get the verdict there. She'll be out to turn the tables at her own merits here in the Rosehill Stakes, because I think number 6, Deprive, is also a huge chance off that Sydney Stakes win. The extra 100 metres doesn't look to be a problem. James McDonald to do the steering, and Deprive is a horse that just keeps improving every time he goes to the races. Number 2, Trekking, well, he ran 3rd in the Everest. I've got him in for 4th here, so that just goes to show the depth that is in the Rosehill Stakes for the inaugural running in 2019. Terrific field assembled for the Rosehill. My numbers, 1, 12, 6 and 2. Race 9 at Rosehill on Saturday. It's the lucky last of benchmark 78 over the 1,300, and I think Outrageous is close to a good thing, and I've got him clearly on top in the last. He's coming through a benchmark 88 race first up, where he was a fighting 3rd behind Signore, Fox and Realum in Ruby. It was a really strong field on that occasion. He did plenty of work from a wide gate, and he was still fighting it out right to the line. You'd like to think he strips fit a second up, 3 kilos off for Brock Ryan, gets him in on 57 kilos, and he's dropping from a benchmark 88 to a much easier benchmark 78. Drawn perfectly, not a lot of pressure on paper. Will suit his racing style, and he just looks a good thing on paper. Number 3, Outrageous. Can anything beat him? I'll have a look at number 10, Charatira. He's first up. I've liked both his trials. He's good first up figures. He's never missed a top 3 finish on a good track. Trained by the Snowdens. Tommy Berry to ride. So I think if you're looking for a danger, Charatira is the one to beat Outrageous. Number 5, Destiny's Own. He trialled really well recently behind Colding. He ran 2nd behind Colding in a trial. He's been placed 3 or 4 first up in the past. And with Robbie Dolan from barrier 1, you could see him getting involved. And number 6, Juventus, with James McDonald in the saddle. The winkers are coming off. He's a horse who's never far from the action, as you can see from his 4 runs this prep. And if you're playing multis, you've almost got to put him in. My numbers in the last, 3, 10, 5 and 6.